Welcome back to my analysis of Neon Genesis Evangelion, as someone who has actually read Genesis. Yeah, um, so I've completed the second episode. Believe it or not, I actually did watch the second episode. I've actually continued a series. I know, insane. But yeah, watched it last night. Let it kind of marinate in my mind, and it's not quite what I was expecting. This one's clearly a lot of setup. They're getting us established. So a few things happen. I'll give you a quick recap of the episode. Shinji, our main character, he he goes to fight the monster. He gets really hurt. His arm gets messed up. His head gets messed up. Well, the suits, well, like the giant mech that he's in, that mech's arm and head get messed up, but he feels that pain personally. And then everything cuts out. He's in the hospital. Turns out that he's kind of won the day, but they don't really explain too much. And then they're like, okay, well, he's out of the hospital now. He's woken up. We're good. We're gonna get him someplace to stay. At first, it's like, okay, he's gonna stay away from his dad because they're used to living apart. Then later, they brought up Misato, whatever you say, the lady. She's like, okay, no, I'll take him. I'll take him. So she invites him to her home. They get some food. They have a meal. He takes a bath, starts remembering stuff because she's like, oh yeah, it's good, kind of purifying place. He's like, oh, I remember the bad stuff in the bath, and he starts remembering some of the bad stuff. He gets out. Oh, and he also finds out that they have another roommate in the form of a penguin that lives in a freezer in their house, well, apartment. But yeah, then he goes to bed. Goes to bed. Mizo takes a bath, and she feels bad. Talks to her doctor friend because she's like, Sama's a means to an end. That I just took him for that purpose, but now I'm starting to feel bad because she didn't do it actually out of kindness, but she tried to make it look like that. But now she's like, oh, I don't feel good about this anymore. And he's like, oh, I guess she's not so bad. And then after she cleans up, he starts remembering everything. He starts remembering that when he fought the monster, the machine he was in went berserk and absolutely obliterated the thing. And then the mech's mask falls off. Turns out it was actually a beast underneath, some sort of horrid monster he was in. Yes, Adam and Eva slew the angel, or Shinji, as they're calling him. Again, bit of change there. Then he freaks out, and the episode cuts back to that. And then Misato says, uh, she doesn't realize that he's freaking out. She's like, dude. And then she says, hey, dude, what you did was good today. People are gonna thank you. Real hero type stuff. And then she leaves, and the episode ends there. So just mostly setup. So nothing really changed too much. Again, they're kind of giving us all the details about the monstrous form. How maybe Adam and Eve were the monster. Now I'm thinking. Sorry. I'm thinking with him coming, Adam and Eve were actually monsters with that reveal of the mech he's in, the Eva 01, actually being a monster. That's a reveal of, yeah, they'd go back, but they'd be the exact monsters that they fear they might be, that God said they could be. Now asking the question, does God create monsters? And is he responsible for what they do? Which I'm liking that idea. That's good. That's getting into the good theming. I'm liking this direction it's taking. And again, it's so much set up. Like the penguin, I don't know what he represents yet. Perhaps the oncoming cold of a sinful world, perhaps the ice age or the oncoming flood, because melted ice is of course water. Misato, I'm not sure what she represents, or Misato, I don't know. Again, I'm sorry, but with her, it's interesting. She takes him in kind of the sheltered thing, but turns out she has ulterior motives, much like how Adam and Eve were meant to go out into the world, but to do so because of their sin, but to do so would be to further envelop themselves in sin, asking themselves what they'd even do with that at that point. It's really getting into some of the meat of the things that I feel they need to address. And again, it's a lot of setup. There's not as much to say on this episode, but I feel what it does say and what it doesn't say is louder than what even the shouts of the most passionate can often say. This is powerful stuff, man. So I'd like to continue to see where this is going. I'm going to watch the next episode after this, and I'll let you know how it all turns out. If my theories were right, if they actually go through the Cain and Abel arc, if the Ava even represents Eve, because I know there's another girl that's supposed to be very important, and there's another girl who's also supposed to be important. The girl that he saved, as it turns out, she's actually recovering and she'll be okay in just under 3 weeks. And he seems to, and Nana's father seems to have more of an attachment to her. Again, Shinji's father seems to have more attachment to her, or at least seem to note her. They have a more, they have a relationship rather than the non-existent one that Shinji and his dad do. So maybe she's supposed to represent Lilith, or supposed to be some sort of better Adam, maybe a proto Adam, maybe one of the angels in a purer form or something, rather than just being the monster, also being the rival for God's love. You know, because maybe that's what they're going for. Like the theme of Adam felt that angels are both the monsters that wanted to take his home and the ones who had all his God's love. Maybe that's what they're doing with it. I'm interested to find out. So I'm going to go ahead and do just that. Thank you so much for listening. Please follow or subscribe, depending on whatever is on the platform. Share this, like it, or whatever equivalent, comment if you can. And this is G Friggin' W, wishing you a good night, good day, and good friggin' bye.